What's happening?
So, Mike.
What's going on, Jay? I'll see you next week or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Something like that. Is it next week, actually?
Yeah, next next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. Is it not my calendar? Let me put up my calendar. 6th. I think I made a res too, actually.
Yeah, it's whenever you're done with soccer practice. Or
Yeah. But I thought I'd already made a res. But so I'll just put the note there. All right, sweet. Gene, how's your hematoma? You're not hearing me yet? That's fine. Denai, Amber, Caleb, David, Robbie. Get all these note takers out, and we will get started in T-minus 30 seconds. Okay. Where is it? There we go. Okay, let him in. Cool. All right. Let me share this screen. And I'll put this here. Why is it not letting me paste? Arg. Try one more way to do this. Why is it not letting me paste? Okay, never mind. All right, let's ride. We're already 4 minutes into this. All right, cool. So, Josh, thanks for having your camera on. It makes it so it's easier for me to stay engaged. Amber, same to you. Anybody else who comes in with their camera on.
I can't hear you.
Oh, I hear you, Gene.
Yeah, I hear you, Mike.
I hear you, Gene, and everybody hears me. So it's a you problem.
Mike, we can hear you. I'm in the car.
All right, Jay. Thank you, boss. All right, cool. So here we go. A couple things we're going to talk about today. One is going to be the new medic, if you are familiar with the phrase medic or med pick. And the other is inverse questions. So we're going to start with inverse questions. To get somebody to sell themselves, we all like to say, oh, I'll sell freaking ketchup popsicle to whatever. But the way you get someone to sell you on something is to actually argue against it. All right. So if I say to you, hey, do you think this sales training will be valuable? And you say, sure. If I say to you, like, why do you think it will be valuable? It will actually push you against arguing why it's valuable. You're going to be like, well, I don't know yet. I haven't actually. But if I ask it in an inverse way, so if I say, do you think your sales training will be valuable? Yes, I do. Are you sure? Do you really think so? I don't know. I don't know if it really will be. This causes someone to want to be like, no, totally. Because what I've done here is I've said, what do you think? And you give me an answer, and I then push you to justify that answer. I'm like, you're saying it's valuable. So for you to say anything other than it would be incredibly valuable when I pressure you would mean you have to argue against yourself. Like, oh, actually, I was lying a minute ago. So you'll never do it. So if I go like, hey, so it sounds like what you're looking for is A, B, or C. Is that right? Yeah. And that's it, huh? There's nothing else you guys would care about. Yeah, that's true. No, really, these things are super important to me. Really, I've had so many people tell me things that the things you mentioned are important. Super important seems like kind of a stretch. No, like it's so important for me for all these hundreds of reasons. Or you showed an area of your product. Hey, we can do XYZ. We can put the roof on in 10 days, or we can be in and out, or we can provide you this documentation. It's all compliant. Would that be helpful for you guys? Yes. Really, it would? Why would that be so helpful for you guys in particular? Are you sure that would be really helpful for you? Well, I've heard a lot of people say that'd be really helpful, but like, I don't know if that's really that important for you guys. This will force them to say, no, it'd be so helpful. Here's why it'd be so helpful. This would be awesome. Okay. Push back in here. Clarifications in here. It's a very kind of like hypothetical thing in here. As you think of those questions or jump in, what I'll just say is like, so I always like to give you guys to do. So like a to do for right now would be write down 2 to 3, are you sure questions. Really is one. Oh, I totally get why you'd say that. But for you in particular, why is that so true? Could be another. I hear that all the time, but I don't know. That's another one. How can you be so sure? Is another one. So if you can pepper these, if you can add these questions in, like you have a shark question, let's call it, and a minnow. This would be a minnow question. It just sits like next to the shark, eating off like the stuff that falls out of the shark's teeth. The shark question is like, why am I here? What are you looking for? Right? Something big. What are the biggest challenges you have? That would be the shark question. But the real thing is the minnow going, why is that so important to you? I don't understand. Or like, are you sure that's really the reason you want to call me? Are you sure that's really why we're talking? The shark question is, now that you've seen it, are we the right fit? The minnow question is, how can you be so sure? Or really? Why do you think so? Okay.
Mike, a quick question for that. Sorry, Josh.
No, go ahead, Andre.
Like when you're asking these questions, are you going in with your pre-call planning and having the 3, 4, 5 questions lined up that are the shark questions and expecting the minnow questions?
Great question. So what I always have for my calls is this. Hold on, I think it's sharing. There we go. So I have this call doc. I'm zooming in here on it. That is basically for if I started working for your company today, I don't even know what you guys sell. I would get, and you guys are like, here's a call with the customer. What do we do? I'd be like, oh, hey, so what do you guys need to see to justify any spend on something like what it is that we do? Forget us, anybody. What would you actually need to see? I get why that's important. So this is actually a minnow question. I get why it's important, but for you, why? Or this question was here is, what does your boss need to see, though? Or what does your wife need to see, though? To which I would then follow up with, really? Is that it? That's all I need? Or why would you guys consider us? Might be my shark question. And my minnow question would be like, are you sure that those are the only things you want to look at?
Perfect.
Okay. So no, so I kind of like have, these are my like standard questions. And then at the end I have these, this question basically, or well, if they said yes to like, is this the right fit? I don't have that question written here, but it's like, are we the right fit? Do you want to move forward? Yes. Cool. And then I might have a minnow question like, are you sure this is the right time to do that? So all of these, like, are you sure? Do you really think so? Questions. That's what gets someone to be like, no, I'm going to put my heels in the ground. This is so important. I'm going to put my heels in the ground. Your product is so awesome. All the other questions of like, what do you think? I got to think about it. Does it sound like the right fit? Not quite sure. You know, because it feels more like you're walking them into a question. And so they're just not going to be as interested in answering it in a way that's going to be beneficial to you. Cool. Josh, you had a question too, I think.
Yeah. So, and I'm going to use one of the ones off your that slide that you just had up. One of them was, I think it was something along the lines of, what other tools are you considering? So if I was in a call and I asked that question, somebody could come back and say, oh, we're considering Seismic or Templify. In that case, like how do you get away with like the minnow question of really without sounding like a pretentious dick? You know what I mean? Like,
well, yes. So for that question, I need to have a better way of explaining this here too. But for that, my minnow question would be, well, why don't you just go with them then?
oh, okay.
It sounds like you're looking at some good tools. So why would you not? You know what that? Maybe we shouldn't even have this conversation. So like basically, what I'm saying, these are like push away questions. So I'm just like, it's like I want to think this is like it's either like a very confident dude or a very insecure dude. So imagine I'm a super insecure dude. I talk to someone, I'm like, hey, can I get your number? And they're like, sure. I'd be like, are you serious? You do? I'm probably engrossingly shitty. The other way is like, would be like a confident guy being like, hey, let me get your number. And they're like, sure. You're like, you really want to give me your number right now? You don't even know who I am. And it's the same kind of thing, but I'm pushing the person away. It causes the person to then argue why going forward is the thing. So I'm pushing them away to say, what are you looking at? These tools, why not go with them? Why'd you join this call? I don't know, actually. Why don't we just end the call now then? Now that you're seeing what it is that we sell, does it seem like the right fit? I think so. Are you sure that's really the right fit? Whatever is the opposite of whatever you feel like makes sense.
Does anyone ever call that bluff? Where it's, well, so look at those other tools. Yeah, I think we actually are probably going to go with them. Like,
never.
Did it ever happen? I mean, I guess
no,
probably not. Okay.
It doesn't happen. The only time it does happen is when it like really wasn't going to happen. Like actually, I shouldn't say never. That was really rude of me to say never. I had a call with a guy yesterday, and he was like to work with me, and he was like, I'm the head of go-to-market for AI tools for this little company, Google, and I'm like, how can I help you? What do you need? He's like, I also have like multiple coaches internally and externally on AI, sales, leadership, and go-to-market. I'm like, you have everything you need, dude. Like I can be a little tiny thing on top, but you already have all this. And I'm like, do you really? I'm like, the smallest thing you could do with me would be, like a half hour a week, let's say, realistically. Is that even worth your time? He was like, not really. Like I only sleep about 2-3 hours a week. And I was like, have a good day. Like I knew it wasn't the right fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, makes sense.
So yeah, no, go for it. All right. These are awesome questions. And I'll put a link to that doc. I've sent it a few times, but I'll put a link to the doc here.
Like, quick question. Can you hear me?
Yeah. What's up, Greg?
Like minnowing when you discuss pricing or onboarding, like, would you do the kind of the same approach for those discussions?
I guess I'm like, what are we trying to do? And you're like, great, onboarding. Can we do it this week? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, are you sure this week isn't too soon? Yes, onboarding. Do you want to get your team here? Yeah, let's get our team on it. Are you sure you want to get your team on it? Don't you think there's going to be some pushback on the timing? Don't you think there's going to be some issue? Do you think it's even realistic for us to get this onboarded with your team schedule?
So one question for pricing, like say if they say, oh, we'll get it signed within today or tomorrow, and could you be like minnow there where you're just like, hey, is that realistic? Like,
yes, today or tomorrow, dude, that would be awesome. I would love that. Is that realistic that you're going to be able to do this in the next 48 hours?
I wish I had.
Are you sure that you can get this done in a day? I guess a way to think about this too, and we'll move on from it unless I get more questions, by the way, please bring them, is when someone asks you a question and you're like, yeah, I like potato salad or whatever. They ask you any question. And then they follow up with, are you sure? Nobody's ever said, you know what? Now that you say it, no, I'm not sure. That's never happened. They just go, yeah. And it's partially just to move on, but it's partially because for them to say, no, I'm not sure. What I just told you is a lie. So their brain will not allow them to say no. Because they'll be like, oh, well, I have to just double down. I've already committed to this identity of someone who would say, yes, I like potato salad. So if I say anything other than no, of course, I'm good with that, then they're going against their identity. So a simple question here is, are you sure? Sound good? Greg, I'm going to throw your ass on mute. Actually, I can't. Can you mute yourself? There you go. Thanks, boss.
I just did it, Mike, somehow.
Nice. Thank you. All right, cool. So that is the first thing I wanted to discuss today, these inverse questions, these minnow questions. If you guys can get 2 or 3 of those down, that would be fantastic. Start adding them into your call, not everywhere, not every time. Let's see what kind of responses you get, because I guarantee your butt will be tight as hell when you say the first one. All right, sweet. We're going to go on to MedPick. For those that don't know MedPick is a let's call it deal inspection framework. So like, do you know the metric that this person is going to use to evaluate the success of your product? Do you know who the economic buyer is, the person who holds the budget for this thing is? Do you know who the decision maker, the person who's like, I'm actually deciding whether we should or shouldn't do this? Do you know how the pricing works? I forget what the hell is what is the implicate need they have? Implied need. So it's like they need to move faster, but if they do move faster, they make more money. So the implied need is they actually make more money. And I forget what C is.
Champion.
Do we have a Thank you. A champion, somebody who's like, I love it. I'm with it. I'm going to push this thing internally. I'm going to tell you all the nitty gritty shit happening in my organization. So in a perfect world, an enterprise deal, you know all this information. This is sort of like BANT 2.0. Okay. If you don't know what BANT is, Google it and don't do it. So I want to talk to you guys about things that, after having crossed the threshold of people that sell stuff to people that buy stuff, what actually you need to be looking at. So you need these 2 things. What is the business reason that we should be buying this? And what is the personal reason we should be buying this? Because the business reason for buying stuff is all we typically work on, or the personal. It's like, my job is annoying. This will help my job be better. And I'm like, cool. The CEO doesn't give a shit that the accountant that they hired is going to have a life be a little bit easier. The CEO might care that you can get these certain reports that the CEO wants in on time. And so when you present this, whether it be to your buyer or to the CEO or to the buyer, to the CEO through your buyer, like forwarding email or something, you need to have both the personal and business pain. So if you remember a minute ago when I was showing that call doc, for example, it's like, hey, what would you need to see different? Hey, what would your boss need to see different? Another version of this is like, why are you open to this conversation? You have some idea of what it is that we do or what we can do. What are you hoping we can do? Followed up by, and if we did that, I'm sure the business wouldn't care. So what would the business care about? Because 9 times out of 10, the thing you're providing makes the person you're talking to's life easier, faster, better. No business gives a fuck about easier, faster, or better. Go ahead, Josh.
So when you say the personal reason, is it because the personal reason could be varied based on the position. So for example, like the junior person personally is like, oh, it's going to save me time. Their manager is going to be like, oh, I'm going to get extra hours out of this person. And then the senior person is going to be like, it's going to save us $100,000 a year. So the personal reasons are different. Are you suggesting it's just for your day-to-day contact, or essentially are you going to map it out across the
the larger the deal, the more people we want to get in. We want to know this information.
Okay,
But
so it's not just one person. Okay.
Absolutely not. And in fact, if I'm selling to you, Josh, I'm not going to ask these exact questions in this exact frame. I'm going to get at some point, why do you give a shit about this? I'm going to get then from you point, like if we did what you gave a shit about, what's the business impact? Some version of that. Like why would the business give a fuck to invest money in you having your life be easier? Let's think about that. And then when you go, hey, Josh, I'm going to bring this to my boss, I'm going to go, cool. Like, that's great that we know that your business is going to save $1 bazillion. I don't know how much your boss cares about that, given that your boss is just going to have, like, that's not even budget that probably your boss has access to. So realistically, what's your boss going to care about? Is it that you're going to complain less? You're going to be more accurate? That the reports, you can get more reports out of you? Like, why is your boss going to give a shit personally? So yes, I will try to continuously answer those questions.
Got it.
Cool. Now we need to know, yes, boss right now, same thing. Cool. What is the ultimate change needed? So if I talk to you guys right now and I was like, what do you want to do? You'd be like, get better at sales. Why do you want to get better at sales? So I can make more money. Why do you want to make more money? Because then I'll feel good about myself. Why do you want to feel good about yourself? Because then I'll be a better dad. Why do I be better? That's the ultimate change needed. What are we ultimately trying to do? Now, that ultimate thing could be just like, I'm stressed out at work. I just want to be less stressed. Cool. We can reduce your stress by getting your shit done faster. We can reduce your stress by making you have to click less buttons, and that's fucking annoying. We can reduce your stress by ensuring that your X reports, whatever, are accurate. We can reduce your stress by not having to think about the thing you're having to think about in 30 days time. So that it could be as little as just stress. And it could, of course, be like, I'm the CEO of the company. I want to save money, so I could go sell the company for more at a higher valuation. We've got kids in their house. I want to make sure everybody's safe. It could be a bazillion different things. All right. Why us exclusively? All right. So at the end of a call, I'm going to say like, hey, why would you go? Would you be interested in working with someone like us? Yes, this sounds like a good fit. Are you sure? Like, why would you consider us versus like looking at a bunch of other competitors or trying to find other people to go after to look to do this? This forces them. This is that minnow question. Forces them to tell you why you specifically are key. I want you to think about this too. I need to understand, why would this person want to buy me exclusively? So if I'm the sales manager, I want to be like, why does this person want to buy? It's going to save him a bunch of time. Cool. What does the business give a shit about? Well, if you save him time, they can do more reports. Awesome. These reports are really key for them. And what does the boss care about? Well, the boss would love that if things are more accurate. He's been stressed out about things being not accurate. Great. And all the things you just said can be solved by every single one of the competitors in this space. So why the fuck would they buy us? Well, what they really like about us in particular is like our customer service. Got it. Because if you think about it, it's like, why do we go to McDonald's when you get off the highway and it's literally like McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's right next to each other? I choose McDonald's because I'm like, I want to get breakfast and you guys are the best breakfast. Or I choose McDonald's because I'm like, oh, the Burger King's on the other side of the highway. I don't want to have to cross over the road. So they all sell basically the identical product, but there's some reason why us exclusively. So if you don't have that, if it was like McDougal's next to McDonald's that also sold Big Macs and everything else, no one would ever go there because there's nothing unique. So you need to think about, in the situation I'm currently in, why are we the only solution that can get functionality? Do we do the things they want us to do? Steps. What are all the steps to buy this? Risks. So I did a post recently. I was like stitching some dude's post, which is like, hey, we do exactly what you're looking for. Is that right? Yes. And are we at a price you can afford? Yes. And are you going to sign? No. And he's like, why does this happen? And I'm like, this happens for 1,000 reasons, none of which are, I didn't see ROI when I ran the trial. Pricing was too expensive. Almost never it's that. I didn't want to bring this to my boss because I just asked for something. And so I kind of feel like I got to give it a little bit of breathing room. I brought it to my boss. My boss said no, because my boss doesn't want to ask their boss for something, or because my boss didn't like the last thing that I bought, or because this thing's going to help me, but my boss doesn't see the value in helping me, or this does help the business, but it's not aligned with the business's goals long-term, or this is cool, but right now they need to spend money somewhere else, right? So there's a variety of risks. Your job as a sales rep is first to, see their problems, show that we have solutions. But the majority of your job as a sales rep really is project management. And so we need to think through, what are all the risks that we're going to take that you're going to run into as we go from this area of the woods where you're interested in that area of the woods where we're at the castle. If we don't think about them, they're not thinking about them either. And they're just going to go, boop, I got to this step. It didn't work. Ghost. Boop, I got to this step. It worked. Got to this step and it worked. Then I got to this step and I didn't really want to go any farther. Ghost. That's why they get ghosted. You want to think about those risks ahead of time. Other reasons they buy, by the way, is like, do they like the sales rep? You want to know who all the players are in these companies. So even if you're not talking to everybody, if I could come to you as a manager, help you on your deals, and I was able to say, imagine if your manager were to come to you and talk about the next random deal that you have in your pipeline, and you're to be like, why do they want it? Because it's going to make their life easier. Why does making their life easier help the business? Because they can get more reports out. Why does their boss care about getting more reports out? Because they can be more accurate. Ultimately, what are they trying to get to? Less stress. Why do they want to use us exclusively? Well, they like everything we do. Also, they love the customer service because they were burned in the past. So that gives them a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling. Do they know all the functionality we have and how it fits to what their problems are? Yes. Do we know all the steps between now and buying? Yes. What is the biggest risk that will cause this deal to not come through? Honestly, it's budget from their boss because their boss just spent a whole bunch of money on some big tool. And what's your solution for them? We have this solution over here. Do they like you, or have you provided yourself to be like a valuable resource, or do they just like ghost you all the time? They do provide me as a valuable resource. Who are all the players? CEO, CMO, director of finance, operations guy. There's technically some other guy kind of influencing the deals, a consultant. That's everybody who's involved. If you know those items, you are putting your spot where the deal closure is inevitable. Will you know all these items? Never. You will never know all these. So the goal is to try to get as deep as you can with each of these so that you are in an inevitable spot. Does this make sense? Are you guys picking up what I'm putting down? Amber, why are you putting up what I'm putting down? I feel like this wasn't really explained that well.
I don't know. You caught me off guard.
Sure. So maybe this isn't, do you feel like this is going to work for you if you were to do these things?
I think so. There's always a way to kind of form what you're saying into what I'm doing throughout the day. Maybe not the whole, 30 minutes worth, but
Sure.
Yeah, I think that, we always take a little nugget back, and Jamie and I can always configure something that we can just improve what we're doing, especially when it comes to outreach. We do a lot
Are you sure that like from this meeting to like translating to your calls, are you sure this could actually translate?
I think some of it. Yeah.
Cool. And you think it'll make a difference on your calls? That's, at least like a 5% difference?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think that, especially when you made me chuckle when you said,
Stop. Do you see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm forcing you. It's uncomfortable for you to not go, yeah, no, honestly, because like we're going to do these and you give me all these, me and Jamie are going to take it back and we're going to figure it out. So I'm forcing you to say out loud, this is awesome. Thank you so much. Now you're saying only parts of it. I can follow up here to be like, oh, it seems like some parts aren't really good.
Yeah.
Do that. However, I'm showing you how even just asking, are you sure? Do you really think is going to get you to say that? So that was thank you for allowing me to do that with you. And
being the guinea pig. I'm a sucker for those every time. You need to dig, yes. And you're doing something.
Thank you for being the guinea pig. I'll be the fat Italian, which I think is the guinea pig. All right, guys. Thank you for your time. Go use this stuff. Write down your couple of questions and I'll see you when I see you. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks.